Hi, my name is Stanley Williams, and this is my piece of Black history for the Black Gold Publishing Black Writers Gold Stories campaign. Before I begin, for those who have seen it and those who haven't, I was cast as an extra in the Marvel film Black Panther, specifically as a United Nations delegate in the end credit scene. My time on set with so many diverse people of color and the many lessons of the film itself led to this piece. So without further ado, again, my name is Stanley Williams, and this is a brother from the shadows steps into the light. I live every day as if it were a war, fighting for my survival, fighting for my manhood, fighting against an image of what everyone thinks a good black man is supposed to be, but have only seen in the black men whose indiscretions are only overshadowed by their contributions. I'm competing against an ideal every day of my life, and I can't complain about it. I can't whine about it to show up black women in the who's struggling more competition because then I become a woman and I resent it. But she still has hope for me that I will become the type of man worthy of her. But my desperation, my posturing, and my incessant need to be right have pushed her away from me. She's become better than me by recognizing herself and her own power, and my pride can't handle it. I would just weigh her down and lower her at this point of where I am, and I know it. She wants to mold me out of a sometimes misguided sense of loyalty to our culture to make me better. But I'm so broken. How could she love someone like me? My own insecurities run so deep that she would literally have to break me down completely, but patiently, to get rid of them and rebuild me from scratch, just to create the man she's been taught to believe she wants. And why put her through that? She could still lose out if I never truly measure up and wind up making her miss her mark for who and where she's supposed to be in this life. Riding her coattail up like some lazy, weak-minded man who thinks he's great, but really uses other people's greatness to build himself up. I can't stand on my square because I have no square upon which to stand. I don't know myself, and I haven't wanted to for a long time. I'm afraid of myself. But you know what I'm more afraid of? What the world will ask of me if I do become the epitomized black man. I would have to ask the hardest questions I've ever asked and be okay with the answers, even if they shine a light on my fears and insecurities for the world to see. I would have to reshape this world better than it currently is. And I know with where I am right now, I'm not equipped to do that. I'm only a man. And some days I'm not even that. Some days I'm still a boy trying his hardest to be a man, but unaware of what that really even means. So what does manhood mean to me? Does it mean conquest to make me superior to those around me, whether they be my goals, my women, or my lifestyle? No, that's a Eurocentric view. That's a Eurocentric view of manhood. Does it mean never having to say I'm sorry and never having to get too close to anyone so that my image can never be put to question? Never having to stand in the spotlight to reveal that my views on the LGBTQ community, feminism, and Christianity may not exactly mirror my counterparts. And that if I'm to become the man I'm meant to be, I have to realize my life is my own to live. And I can't force other people to live the way I was taught they should by people whose morals are questionable at best. I was taught by people who were raised on survival, And I was raised by a television that had a blueprint for who it wanted me to be, and never stepped outside of it for fear of waking me up to become something more powerful than itself. I am a man, black, lost, but searching for myself in a world that already has a cookie cutter template for every version of me across every socioeconomic strata, which leaves room for everything but the actual me. But there's hope that if I put my own foolish pride aside, follow her example, and build a square of my own to stand on, I will find a power that the learned men before me created and built civilizations and spiritualities upon. This ideal in which the template for was an actual man who looked like me, who fought like me, who loved like me, who started out like me. A man who was incompetent before he was great, a man who was a novice before he was a boy before he was a man, and a man before he became a king. And that is something I no longer need to fear. A man who saw light only by going through the darkest tunnel that his insecurities could lead him through. That's the path that man left for me, but only if I'm courageous enough to take it. He fought against self-deprecation, self-denial, and self-imposed limitations. He fought against the opinions of sheep, and he fought against the fear that his woman being great would overshadow his own greatness. I no longer live, give power to, or recognize that as my reality, and I take my power back from those who stole it from me when they robbed me of my heritage, who stole my pride through buck breaking, stole my courage through the whippings of the lash, and wrought dissension upon me when he made my woman no longer my equal, my covert superior. I take my power back for every man before me who couldn't. And I put that fire in my stomach, in my willpower, and in my soul. I no longer take up the mantle of a flawed ideal concept of what manhood is, and I create my own real concept of what it can be. And I no longer fear that it is my job to take up my heritage by studying my forefathers' wisdom. I no longer fear that I am responsible to and for my community, my women, and my children. And I, with an attitude of gratitude, take it upon my collective shoulders to stand beside my woman as my equal partner, confidant, and queen, and plant the roots for a new heritage into this soil. A soil that we will create, a life that we will define, that we perpetuate, and that we will leave to our children and their children and generations to come. My legacy, our legacy, will be one of magnanimity because we did what those before us were incapable of. We evolved. And after 400 years of having it lost to us, we have finally taken back the one thing that was ever truly lost to us in the first place. And that's our home inside ourselves. Thank you.